to go here.
Hey guys, welcome to the lab. We're back with some more exclusive content. We are back with another episode of Sundaze with the Clink Room. Today we're joined by my favorite Aussie out of Melbourne, Australia, Brad Rayson. Brad, how you doing?
Good, mate. Thanks for having me.
Good. My pleasure. Haven't had you on camera for a while. We were speaking about this a little bit pre-recording. Probably it's been 2 years, so time kind of flies. I'm glad you're able to spend some time with me and talk about you. So it's exciting.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, perfect. So just so that people can kind of get to know you, can you talk a little bit about your background as an artist and kind of what got you initially inspired to pursue art?
Yeah, as a young kid, I always just loved drawing, so I would just draw whenever I could. And I think from what I've heard from a lot of the other clinkers that you've interviewed, I come from a similar way of thinking, where I grew up in the 90s watching like heaps of cartoons. So I was heavily influenced by a lot of the 90s cartoons.
Yep.
And so I tried to create my own characters, as well as just drawing the ones that I loved. And then also heavily influenced by sports branding, and that was probably huge through the 90s with a lot of the American sports brands. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like things like the Raptors and the Charlotte Hornets specifically. Those were sort of logos that really stood out to me. They're probably heavily mascot driven, which is probably what I've sort of been influenced by in my style. So that's pretty much where a lot of my influence sort of comes from.
Nice. Were there any specific artists that kind of influenced your work?
Not particularly, but I was heavily into like the Looney Tunes and the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. So I guess a lot of the artists that did that.
Okay, cool. In terms of Clink Room, how did your collaboration with the Clink Room kind of come about?
Well, I stumbled across them when I was getting heavily into sort of sports branding back when they first came out. I think it was like 2014 or something like that. And I just saw the chance to hopefully make one of my designs get put up there. That was probably early on when I wasn't as good of an artist as what I've sort of gotten better over the years. So yeah, I submitted a couple of designs. None of them got through. Actually, one of them was a design that I submitted back then that actually got in 2.0 and was my first Capta Tropos. So, but that took a bit of evolution over the time.
Right.
So yeah, that's I got into them well before at the start, pretty much.
Nice. So you mentioned that kind of challenge pertaining to working with them. Are there any other types of things or even exciting aspects about working with the Clink Room on just the various projects that you've been on?
This is sort of my hobby, so it's what I do on the side. I do graphic design as a full-time job, so that's
right.
Not a lot of heavy sort of illustrative sort of logo design sort of stuff, more flyers and posters and brochures and more sort of corporate sort of style sort of things. So this is sort of my outlet that I get to do on the in my spare time and get push boundaries artistically.
Yep.
And yeah, it's been fun collaborating with the Clink Room and Casey in particular. He's sort of been like a little bit of a mentor and pushed me and sort of opened my eyes up to telling more of a story in my designs rather than just submitting just a logo, just putting a little bit more effort into it.
Right. Can you kind of walk us through your creative process when you're like working on a new project or collaboration?
Yeah, I always start old school with a pen and pencil and paper. I like to sort of sketch ideas out and put them on paper and just quickly rough it out. And then I might start fine tuning it from there. And then I get, my inspo from pretty much anywhere. Like it could be Pinterest, it could be just social media, magazines, TV. You can pull an idea from anywhere. And then I will pretty much scan that sketch and put it into Illustrator, and then vectorize it from there. Sorry about the kids in the background.
Okay. It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, and then I'll vectorize it in Illustrator from there, and then just play around with it. And if I don't like it, come back to it the next day and sort of push it in different angles. And then I leave coloring up towards the end. I might have an idea of sort of the colorway I want to go, but then I'll just play around with it after that.
Nice. Out of all the projects you've worked on with the Clink Room, do you have a favorite design? Do you have a specific one that kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, my first design that I got through was Tropos, so that's probably the most sentimental. Means the most to me. And that's the one I probably like and love the most. Sorry.
We got a cameo. Hello.
My apprentice.
Yeah. Awesome. Tropos. Yeah, there's been a couple different variations with that character. It's just got so much kind of personality. It's got the little palm tree stir stick. There's usually a cherry involved. Yes, definitely.
It's come a long way since I first sketched that out.
Right. A lot of your stuff kind of ties back to like just that kind of tropical season, summerish, like cool like vibes. I think of like Banana Shaka and Skullet. Skullet is definitely not a haircut for the winter, although you probably have to maintain it in the winter if that's something you want to do. But definitely a lot of like summer vibes, a lot of bright colors, the teals and pinks and stuff like that for a lot of your work. In terms of the influence, does being based in Australia influence your style, you think, or
yeah, I guess that's kind of my interests as well. So I kind of want to bring that sort of vibe in with a lot of my designs. I find it a bit more of a challenge to try to create more of a sort of happy, fun style logo and try to get that through crits and get it following. So I try to push that angle. It's obviously a lot easier if you put like a skull or something like that into a design and make it a bit more aggressive. That tends to get a lot more, favorable votes. So, like just, a bit of a challenge. That's kind of why I go down that sort of angle.
For sure. You mentioned like how you've changed kind of as an artist. Like how do you feel your kind of style has evolved over the course of the last couple of years, and what are some of the things that kind of contributed to that evolution?
Practice is definitely something. I think just it's more probably the speed I finish my designs now. Like it doesn't take so long, or as long as what it did originally when I first sort of started. That's definitely something that's improved. And then just line work and just efficiency is probably what's improved the most. And it's all about trying to get like as smooth and minimal design as possible, for embroidery, because obviously the more detail you put into it, the less it really works in a finished embroidered sense.
Right. In terms of the community, like the Clink Room community is like really, really important. How do you kind of navigate through that and kind of stay involved just with the different aspects of that?
Yeah, that was one of the things that I loved the most when it started up again. Just, everyone's been so positive and nice and open to speak and talk, and it's been great. I'm always speaking to some of the other guys that have been from the start, even some of the newer guys, just chatting away behind the scenes, maybe doing little collabs or, ideas together, and just even just talking about, just the way it's changed. And it's been fun. It's been really fun. I don't have a strong sort of design community that I'm involved in here in Australia, so it's sort of it's been a good little outlet to speak to some like-minded souls.
So Brad, like who would you say are some of your favorite clinkers?
Yeah, Jason V would be one of my favorites. 40 Swords, like you, the original Shams is like one of my all-time favorite clinker cap designs. COD designs, I love some of the stuff that he's done. Jacobo, he's been good from the start. Ephra from Chimucha Studios. They're probably the guys that I've liked the most over the journey.
Nice. How do you kind of balance the creative freedom that you designers have with the kind of like need to create something that's like marketable and like appealing? Because there's always that sort of like, push and pull, right?
Yeah, it is tough. I guess you gotta throw stuff out there though. Like you don't know what's going to stick and what doesn't. So I think you just give things a try, and then you can sort of help by bringing in just with colorways and stuff like that to sort of help sort of with the marketability of design. So yeah, I would say that's probably how you'd sort of balance it out.
Right. In terms of like trends within the industry, like how do you kind of stay on top of that? And are there any like timeless elements that you believe that just work?
I guess just being active on social media. It keeps you up to with all the sort of trends and what's happening. Right. And then sorry, what was the other question?
Do you think that there are just some things that are just like timeless elements that just work, great with like these sports related or even design related projects?
Yeah, well, the swinging bat's just like a timeless design if you can sort of incorporate that. Obviously, you don't want to do it too often, but that's something that's timeless. A trend that I've sort of seen is going through Clink is that the designs have been a bit more heavily detailed.
Yeah.
If you look back at more of the original designs, they're a lot more sort of simplified. So I guess that's sort of a trend that's sort of crept in over time. And the more detailed stuff has tended to be a bit more favorable with the voting on Monday at crits as well. But it's kind of hard because obviously it's all in 2D format, so it's hard to sort of visualize a lot of that sort of stuff, what would work well and what wouldn't. Because once you've had stuff in hand and you've seen the real detailed designs,
totally different.
Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't work, and the more minimal designs actually pop the most and look more incredible. But yeah, 2D sort of stops that a little bit.
Yeah, I think like the different color breaks and like the ones that are just like really really thick bold lines always embroider better because you could just raise the embroidery as opposed to having a jumble of stuff. You mentioned earlier about being like influenced with sports logos like the Raptors and the Hornets. Do you have any teams that you kind of follow just as a fan?
Yeah, well, I'm a big Australian rules football follower, so that's probably my big sport here in Australia. But I love the NBA, so I'm a big Warriors fan. So Steph Curry's been great over the years to watch.
Yeah, is it easier to watch him on the West Coast than like some of the different East Coast teams, just because of the time
Yeah,
difference?
yeah. Like the teams that obviously that have done well and get them have a bigger following tend to get shown on our sports channels over here a lot more. And obviously the Warriors have been fairly good over the past few years, so they are on TV a fair bit, so it's been good.
Exactly.
But then you've got things like NBA League Pass, so you can watch any team whenever you want, really.
Right, and then you're not in any danger of being blacked out by a local market.
Yeah,
that happens over here a lot. So, who's your AFL team?
The Melbourne Demons.
Okay, the Demons. All right. Lee Rocky, fellow Australian, would always like message me anytime, like hey, like the hats, they're back. We don't know how long they'll last, and he's been great.
Yeah.
Sending us packages and hooking us up with AFL stuff and the rugby stuff and all that other. I just think the logos are so cool and so different. Over here, you wear them and no one is ever gonna like know what the heck they are usually.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like me wearing like the Clink stuff. Like, there's a very minimal amount of people over here that have access to it. So
exactly. Do you have any like specific advice you could give to any aspiring artists looking to get into this kind of world?
I reckon just give it a go, and just practice. You're never going to get anything perfect straight away, so just keep at it. It's all about hard work and just working at things, and then just look at what other people have done. One thing that I did from the start was I would look at all the Monday Crits designs, and then the ones that got through into the shop, I would just have a good detailed look at how much Casey and the Clink team had changed it up to make it a bit more worthy for embroiderable. So that's how I taught myself a lot of things.
Cool.
Just the way they changed small details and colors. And that's where I got a lot of my ideas and experience from that.
That's awesome. All right, cool. So thanks for going through that with me. Now we'll kind of get into some of the different Sunday festivities. So let's take a look here. I got a couple new things. So we're going to cover the dead stock drop. So I think Casey's going to they're doing like a kind of a rebrand on their website. So if you know, on the splash page of the Clink Room website, there's a lot more infographics, a lot more different scrolling screens you can see for like the different hats up for pre-order and stuff like that. So I think they've officially dropped the InstaShip moniker, and now they're going with dead stock or fresh colorways. So this week, it was not a dead stock drop; it was a fresh colorway drop. So Underworld was this week's drop. So 6 different hats. I actually have 2 of them. What are your initial thoughts with this drop?
I thought that was cool. They brought back a couple of older ones, like that, the maple skulls. That's like,
that's early 2.0.
Yeah. I love that Sea Devils one that Jason V done. Originally, when the first one came out, it had like a bit of a gradient tail, but it's hard to see on that image whether they're still sort of done that.
Yeah. I think the original was like a lot of teal, silver, and pink.
Yeah.
It was a little muddier. This one has a lot better contrast, I would say, for the Sea Devils. Let's break it down. So we're going to go 3 by 3. So the first 3, Werewolves of London, the Cerberus, and Maple Skulls. Do you have any thoughts on these 3 initially?
Yeah. For color-wise, that Cerberus looks really cool.
Yeah.
On the teal.
It's like a dolphin's colorway almost.
Yeah. And like we were talking about before about the detail, that's what the Maple Skulls, how simple it is. And it, like, if you saw that from a distance, it would just be so crisp and clear.
Definitely. The one that sticks out to me. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, and the Werewolves one's pretty badass, really, isn't it?
Yeah, just the under, like the way that they lighted it. they got the red kind of on the dark side. They made that as the hat, and then they just backlit him with the same color as the moon. I think they did a really great job on that one. All right, and then we got Sea Devils, which you mentioned, Catacombs, and Wrath Kings by Kyle. You have any initial thoughts on these?
Yeah, well, I love that Sea Devils one from the start, but that colorway is pretty cool, and even the Wrath Kings looks good in that, the blue and with the red.
Yeah, let me. I'm gonna
bit of an LA Dodgers.
Yeah, I'm almost closer to the Cubs, so that blue and
yeah.
red. But give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna grab the two I picked up to see if you can guess which ones I picked up. So I grabbed two off the shelf and like 6 end up falling. So I grabbed these two. So grab the Catacombs. Just the embroidery on this one is crazy. Like, this was one of those ones that you saw the mock-up for, and you're like, there's no way they can pull this off. And then when the first one arrived, I was like, yeah, I messed up by not grabbing this. And then Casey tells a story about how he used to be in university kind of he's from the West Coast, so he had to go to school on the East Coast. It was cheaper for him to go to France than it was to go home and visit his family during Thanksgiving. So he had ended up visiting the Catacombs, and that kind of influenced him and all that. So, yeah, I grabbed this one. Jumped that out to me.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that on the lighter. Was it like a camel?
Yeah, it's like a camel, almost Vegas gold, maybe.
Yeah, with the blue underneath, looks really cool.
Yeah, and then the blue. It's really cool kind of hat. And then just the werewolf one.
Oh yeah, that looks even better embroidered up close.
Yeah, like just.
Is that like a metallic thread?
No, I think it's just like a seashell, kind of beige. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the threads they use may not be necessarily be metallic, but they just have a sheen to it.
Yeah.
So, I think this was a great drop, all in all, and I like how they're picking things that are like kind of related, so like semi in the same theme, and I kind of see them that way. It's just a cool way to do it.
And each cap's on a different color, so sort of mixes it up a bit.
Yeah, I saw someone post like that they missed a layup with not having, I think, the Hades one in there, but there's only 6. There's like 1,000 to choose from, so there's gonna be some obvious ones, but I think they did a great job here.
Yeah, they probably could have easily filled this particular one up.
Yeah. Do you find that like the thematic ones like this, so like Underworld, like it has to do with death and all that stuff, would you rather them all be the same color but same theme, or do you like how they broke it up here?
I don't know. I think it's good that they've mixed it up. Like, obviously they did the Endless Summer one, which was all the same color, and kept on doing the same thing over and over. People will probably get a bit bored with that, but it's good that they've mixed it up, I reckon.
Yeah, I like how they changed the color up a lot from the original. That way, like, if you missed it, you have a chance to get it again. But if you got it the first time, it's gonna motivate you to get the second one. It's like, all right, now I gotta start collecting this hat because it's so different. So I like the mix up. So now we're gonna cover the last call. So these 6 designs are going up for pre-order. The pre-order ends at midnight tonight, and then they'll be sent to production. So this was an interesting drop because this was the first time that I noticed that the hats had original side patches.
Yeah,
the other ones had kind of it was like the recognition for being like a top seller side patch, but this one, it looks like they've worked with the artist to include a specific side patch for the design, which is completely new. But yeah, so Hallucinathan is kind of back. He hasn't done a lot of Clink stuff for a while. He's been kind of in the sports world, designing and for one of the West Coast shops called Crown Minded. So it's cool seeing him back. Actually, originally, if I'm being truthful, he was supposed to be on the show this week, but next week he was supposed to be on the show, but then he told me he had just had a baby and his world is turned upside down. So congratulations to Nathan and the family. We're going to circle back and get him on when things are a little bit more chilled out, but it was good to see him back with this kind of seagull West Coast design. They're everywhere in San Francisco. Lotus by Clinker Gabe. Gabe hasn't been super active lately, so it's good to see him back. And then Spring Dinner by Megan. What are your initial thoughts here?
Yeah, I love the seagull one that Hallucinathan has got there. I remember when he first brought it out, the original version of it went pretty crazy on all the comment section. I don't know how well it did in the sales, but I think it did fairly well. But yeah, I love it. It looks cool. My brother is a Giants fan, so he would love that one.
Nice. Yeah, they're everywhere. On the West Coast.
Yeah, well, we get a lot of seagulls here in Australia too. When you have fish and chips on the beach, you have to fight them off. And the other two sort of feel a bit similar. They've got like that similar sort of colorway going together.
Right.
But yeah, I've been to Japan, which is an amazing country, and that's a really cool design.
Yeah, I think Gabe had put something out about the Lotus. He was saying that the Lotus is actually poisonous. So that's kind of how he put it, because it seemed a little bit random just to slap a skull on a Lotus at first. Yeah. But actually, when you find out that little tidbit, it's like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense. But yeah,
I think with the gradient sort of coloring on the leaf, it'll give it a lot more sort of edge.
Yeah, definitely. And then Clinker Megan, I'm not too familiar with them. That might be the first time I've actually seen her work. Okay. This might be Casey's sister. Okay, yeah. So that's Casey's sister. So maybe he worked together with her to do that. So the original one, they had the golden retriever, if you remember.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds awesome. So the side patch in the front just kind of work well with each other. The color is really cool. It's like a seashore blue, black.
It's good work with the colors there with that one.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and let's see here. We got Liquid Courage by COD and Italo. Bruise Control by Rafael. And 40 Swords is back with the Sandpipers. Do you have any initial thoughts here?
Yeah, these ones are all really fun. Interesting to see how the Bruise Control one goes, because I've noticed over the time that I've been on it, and I've tried doing a few myself, that car designs haven't seemed to be very popular, especially in crits.
Right.
Which I found quite surprising. But yeah, that's a really cool design though.
Yeah, it's got like a hot rod meets like twisted metal type thing.
Kind of reminds me a lot of, I don't know if you ever saw the movie, was that Death Race with Jason Statham in it?
No, they use a lot of memes from that. It's Jason Statham. Yeah, I think they use a lot of memes from that movie, but yeah, I definitely didn't watch it. Was it good?
It was okay, but it's like they have hotted up cars like this, and they just try and kill each other, basically.
Right. And then we have like this Liquid Courage. It's like a shot glass, and we got the clink cheers at the side. That one's kind of interesting. And then Sandpipers. I'm gonna look up the backstory on that. That one seems kind of cool. 40's always got some crazy story usually.
Yeah, the Sandpipers is fun. It was good play on the words, I think.
Mm. All right. Yeah, this is the shorebird. That makes life miserable for anyone in the vicinity. Okay. So yeah. The one that sticks out to me is Raphael's. It's if they do that with like a nice copper or even like bronze, I think that'll really stand out.
Yeah.
All right. And then now covering the shock drop. Now this one reminds me of early 2.0. Have you had a chance to see what shock dropped earlier?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So Sidekicks is back.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I saw this one.
Clinker J, he also goes by Fairweather League. Dropped this one. This is a cool take on it because the original Sidekicks, I don't think a lot of people ordered it because it had to be within the first couple months of Clink 2.0 or even
it was very early on.
Yeah, and then people totally missed on that. I don't know how many people actually ordered it, and then came the X-ray version of it, which was to me was really cool too. So now this is the second week in a row where they brought back a hat plus the X-ray version because they did Red Wing Blackbird last week like this. So it's an interesting change. I know they have a couple Clink word marks and potentially another couple Kongs in the chamber ready to go. But this week they brought us one of the classics.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts here?
Oh, this is cool because I think was the original Sidekicks like on a purple cap or something?
Purple, orange, and gray.
Orange,
it was like a gray hat, I think, but with purple and orange on it.
Yeah, because I remember when it first came out, you guys had it high up on your list as one of your favorites.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, Jay's been around forever. Yeah, so it was like a graphite, purple and orange, almost like a Clemson colorway. But yeah, time flies. July 5th, 2020, when it dropped. Yeah, but Jay Hutton out of Connecticut. Yeah, I've been a long time fan of his. He runs his own independent brand with Fairweather League, and it was cool to see him get involved with Clink Room. He's one of the guys. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, he's done a bit with Ebbets Fields or something, hasn't he?
Yep, definitely. He's one of the guys that originally that I noticed that always went like heavy on the outline and had like a super bold outline on some of the designs. He doesn't have it on this one in particular, but some of like the head only designs he did, he always would do like this. He would rock this like heavy, thick outline. I always thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those shock dropped. Hopefully you guys got lucky, like that kind of rust with yellow under, and then the black and yellow kind of Pittsburgh Steelers type colorway. If I were to pick one out of the two, I think I'm gonna go with the black one. But the rust one is cool too.
Yeah, I'm liking that rust one.
Yeah, the details on the bones is crazy. Like that whole X-ray series when they first came out, I don't even know if they really glowed in the dark or not. But it was just like such a cool series because the first X-ray ones were all on black, solid black hats, and then the bones really made them stick out.
Have they both got the same yellow under?
It looks like it, kind of like a athletic gold or kind of yellow. I know certain people with like pale complexions don't like the yellow because it like I guess reflects on their skin or whatever. But
yeah,
you know. All right, now let's get into the crits. So these 10 designs will be up for critique starting tomorrow, but today we'll be starting off with reviewing Wind Studios Wanderer. What are your thoughts here?
I'm loving the coloring. Just the lighting off the flame.
Yeah, he had one a couple weeks ago. I think it was like a Red Riding Hood type design with like a wolf in the background. This one might not be like a Red Riding Hood thing, but it's definitely like a wolf in a red hood. So I don't know if it ties back to that. It's kind of made a little bit more serious too. It's a really cool design. I don't know if I love it being on a blue hat, but it's definitely like drawn really well. Like you got like the light coming from the torch.
That face is really detailed, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. He's like really kind of means business. It's really serious looking wolf here. But yeah, definitely drawn really well for sure.
I reckon maybe they can make that flame bigger.
Yeah, maybe give it a little bit more light to it too, maybe possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but cool design for sure. Number 2, we got Clifton with the hang time. How are you feeling about this?
Yeah, this is pretty cool. In the past, basketball stuff hasn't really done so well in crits, but astronaut space stuff has. So
Mm-hmm.
it'd be interesting to see how that goes.
He's kind of dunking in a black hole too. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's very detailed. Like that, that'd have to be simplified a little bit more.
Mm.
I'm not sure about the pink though. I reckon you probably could have gone orange or something like that.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because like right now, the Rockets, their City Connect stuff is like a dunking kind of space guy like this. Theirs is
Oh
like
yeah,
a weird view. It's like a up from the back for whatever reason. This is like a cooler pose to me. Not really like a natural like dunking position, but again, we're talking about someone who's like in no gravity, so he's gonna be floating, right? So,
yeah.
um, yeah,
And
and like
is it meant to be
but
like Saturn or something with
with the,
the ball and
I
the
think
hoop?
he's dunking into a black hole. It looks like, or some type
Oh,
of,
okay. I reckon they should make it look like Saturn. So it sort of looks like it's dunking, and that's like the
yeah,
Saturn
yeah,
with the ring around it. That would look pretty cool.
yeah, or even like dunking like a moon or like some type of comet or something would be
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, I reckon that too.
Yeah. Um. All right. Cool. So, Hang Time by Clifton. Um. Got a fan for life. So Clifton, Ari Clifton's going back to back. So the famous foam finger. Um, you're a fan so long you're dead. So it's a
I
fan for
like,
life. I like
I
it.
like that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
It looks
Yeah,
like it's gonna glow in the dark too, because that white's got a little tinge of green.
yeah. I wondered whether you can play a little bit more with the sort of the depth part.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's simple. You know, that's going to embroider so well. They could
Yeah.
make that hand sort of pop really off the cap.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a little bit of shadow too. If they can really get like a really high depth on it, that would be like a really cool hat. Like that's a
Yeah,
hat that you can see from across the room.
yeah. I like it.
Definitely. Two sports
It's
themed
good. It's
ones
good to
from
see some sort of simpler designs get through.
yeah, yeah. This is like a less is more thing. Definitely.
Mm.
All right, let's see what else we got. We got Neon Paradise by Raphael. What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, I saw this one when he posted it, and he's been doing a few more sort of in this style. It's cool. I reckon it's really cool. It just sort of reminds me of those, you know, the signs that you see at the front of tiki bars or something.
Right. Right. I like his stuff. I like how he kind of just goes and highlights animals and stuff like that. I just wish sometimes like this one's all right, but like just sometimes like I wish there was a little bit more substance to it. Sometimes like
Yeah,
it's just like all right,
yeah,
here's a cool looking animal. All right, like um but yeah, like if we're just judging it on just this hat, the look's great. Um the neon look is kind of cool. Like it's kind of been done a lot, but you know, um he has this like huge portfolio of different animals within shapes and stuff like that. It would be kind of cool to see him kind of expand that a little bit.
I guess to elaborate on what you're saying, it's not as quirky as what a lot of Clink stuff has been known for, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. It's kind of like this is a parrot. I like a parrot. Here's a parrot. You know.
Yeah,
But also he's English is not probably his. I'm assuming it's probably not his native language, and
yeah,
um, he's from Brazil. So I'd love to see him like tackle more Brazilian themes and kind of tell a story. that way. But for sure, he's one of those guys that puts out a lot of work, always working, always submitting, always getting stuff put through. So, I like the hustle, I like the work ethic, but sometimes I just wish we would get like a little bit more deeper with him.
Yeah, I guess that's on him as an artist to push his, challenge himself a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten better. That without for sure, without a doubt, he's gotten better from when we first saw him, and he's one of those guys, kind of similar to like Jacobo, just kind of grinding and working and submitting. So I like to see him grow as an artist, but like the themes, I want to like push back to get him to, dig a little deeper. But I like him as an artist for sure.
I'd be interested to see how they would embroider that, whether they just do the lines coming out or whether they put it on like a patch or something.
I think for future use, what they should do is put everything flat, like on a tone of black, and then stitch the
colors on top of that.
raised. Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because then if you do that, then you can kind of switch up the colors for future use later. But if you don't do that and you change the color of the crown, it's not going to really work.
Yeah. I know you want the colors to pop the most, but you kind of want a bit more color in the cap too, don't you? Or not?
Potentially. I mean, you want at least the two front panels to be a darker color, or else it's not going to achieve that neon look. Unless you do the space behind everything black, you can't really change the color on the hat. Right, but it's an interesting concept. I've seen a bunch of different people kind of post some neon stuff lately, so it's interesting to see it here. All right, moving forward, number 5. Let's see what we got. We got Milos with the Glacier King, kind of like Ghost Rider meets who's the guy from Game of Thrones? The Ice King guy.
Yeah.
Why am I forgetting his name? The White Walker, whatever. Like the White Walker meets Ghost Rider. But yeah, Milos is back. What are your initial thoughts here?
It's strong, isn't it? It's a strong design.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of detail in that.
Yeah, he's got like a frozen crown made of icicles. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, the crown's cool. Like I'm just looking at it. Kind of also looks a bit like an ice landscape as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like mountains or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's badass.
Reminds me a bit of the Red Skull from Captain America as well.
Right. The blue version of it. Yeah.
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 I like the pop collar sort of as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Gives it a bit more size.
I think I'd make maybe like, if I were to nitpick, I think this is drawn nicely, but like I think I'd make maybe the flame a little bit more flowy, a little bit less rigid.
Yeah, maybe make it bigger, and then obviously maybe get rid of a little bit of that, the detail on the other side.
Yeah, or kind of like make the flame wrap a little bit, and then behind it you can get like different smoke effects, or maybe a cloud or something,
or sort of maybe into the crown, so it all sort of.
Yeah, but definitely a cool.
Yeah, I like it though.
He's kind of like taking a page out of like that Seamus book where nothing is really like outlined. It's just color on top of color, which is interesting. You don't really see him kind of do hats in this kind of nature.
Yeah, this is a lot different to what we've seen from him previously, right?
Yeah, but definitely a cool job. Shout out to Milos. Number 6. Speaking of Seamus, he's here. The Sea Dragon. For most people who don't know, this fish can like really fuck you up, right? This is like a really poisonous fish, if I'm not mistaken.
Is that like the lionfish?
It's smaller. It looks. Hold on, let me look this up. So I'm not just making it up. The Sea Dragon. Most stuff I mean, you're from Australia, where like almost anything can kill you if it's like an animal. Most stuff that is colored like really bright usually is like stuff you got to worry about, right? So sea dragon. Oh no, maybe I'm mistaking it. Sea dragon. Oh, this is this. What's it called? A seahorse.
Oh, yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
it
'cause
was that octopus thing that could have killed you. There's like a poisonous octopus, I think, out there.
well, there's the blue-ringed octopus in Australia, which is really poisonous.
Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking about. Yes. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so I mixed it up. That's my fault. So the sea dragon, this is a seahorse.
Similar colors though.
Yeah.
He's kind of done like a top-down sort of view, like you're looking down into the water, and this is how you would see it from the top.
Yeah.
With the shadowing underneath. That's really good.
Yeah, and then the like the tan is like probably for like the
sand,
and then the gray for the rocks. But yeah, like you could tell it's his stuff because he never outlines anything.
Yeah.
But it's so like detailed and intricate. I love his style. Like I'm so used to seeing everything like big, bold, blacked outline. But like he does it so different. It's so cool.
Yeah. Well, it's good having, different artistic takes on things by different having different artists, and they have the different ways. So not everything looks the same.
Yeah. I like how like the middle part of it almost looks like it's like protruding out the water because it's got like those white ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's cool. I don't know how well it will do, but it's definitely a cool piece of art.
Yeah, I wonder whether the teal's like a little bit, or the crown's a little bit too bright. Maybe
just to go darker a little bit.
Yeah, or less sort of teal, maybe a bit more sort of
blue,
ocean blue or something.
Yeah, definitely, but definitely a cool piece, Seamus. All right, let's see what else we got here. Number 7, Phil Hauser, back with the lab rats. That's a huge gauge needle right there. I'm a person with a lot of tattoos, but I hate needles. Lab rats. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I saw when he posted this. I loved it. It's so cool. It's so fun. There's not much you could say about it that needs changing. The only thing would be maybe if he raised the hands up a little bit, he could bring the needle at the top down, and then you could size it up a little bit more.
Right.
Then you'd get more detail in the embroidery. But apart from that, I reckon it's pretty spot on.
There's one thing about this design that I don't know if you can really catch it with your naked eye. And I don't know if you can catch it given the current size of it, but he's got the crazy lines in both eyes. I kind of wish those were a little bit more visual.
Yeah, I can't really
more
see
visible. That. Yeah, that's like a really cool like effect, but that'd be like the only thing that I would just give him the that's like a cool like little thing that he added, but like you can almost can't see it because he's almost squinting. But I would definitely want the crazy eyes more predominant in the design. But yeah, he's ready to go. He's sick of getting tested on. So I like the
colors work well too.
Yeah, it's like infrared and gray. Like that's always like a classic, kind of like sneakerhead kind of colorway. I like 3/4 designs too. Sometimes you don't have to force the whole body, and then that way you lose a little bit of detail. But other than that, yeah, I would want the crazier eyes. That's it. But other than that, I think this is a really good one. Let's move forward. Let's see what we got next. Number 8, the Bermuda Triangle by Josh Voles. Initially, I thought this was something else, but let's hear your take on it first.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm not sure if he had a Bermuda Triangle design like a long time ago, or it was someone else. But I'm sure someone had done it before. But I think this is done a lot better. Like, it's creating a whole story. With the plane sort of crashing or diving, Then you've got the smoke sort of going into like a skull or the clouds. And then your boat's in the front. Yeah, it's really good. I like it. Is that like a ship sinking?
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's split. It looks like the ship is split, or it
Yeah.
could be two different ships. So
No,
when I
this is real.
first, sorry to cut you off, but when I first saw this, I initially thought like he might have been doing like a Pearl Harbor thing. Good to know
Yeah.
that I saw that it was a Bermuda Triangle, I guess. Um, but yeah, definitely cool. Like he's got the skull hidden in the clouds and good symmetry and all that stuff. I've scrolled his page. I haven't seen a Bermuda Triangle one before, so maybe
Maybe it
took it
wasn't.
down.
Yeah.
Or could be
But
someone else.
this is really, I love the colors. I don't know if you need that extra outline. You can
Hmm.
probably just use the light one
Yeah,
just to simplify it a little bit more.
yeah. It's a really cool theme. I like it. I like the hidden skull a lot. Would you extend it outside the triangle at all, or do you like how
Ooh,
it's kept in?
maybe you could do it, but just lines. So it's not, so it looks like it's there, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of like have it fade out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this, it's very symmetrical as well. It's good
Mhm.
balance.
Yeah, and then that little wave there almost looks like it's like tombstones, like that wave in the middle. Yeah, it's kind of like the
Yeah, yeah.
bottom part of the jaw. It almost looks like tombstones too. Um, but yeah, it's cool. Like, cause even like the bottom right, the waves are kind of peeking out of the triangle. Even the boat parts on both sides kind of peek out. So it'd be
Mm.
interesting to see if he could extend the skull out a little bit more. Um, yeah, because it's not really using a good. You're not really like efficiently using your space with a triangle. It's really
Yeah.
narrow. Uh, you're also gonna have your hat meet right on the seam too. So like that straight edge line might not um, embroider perfectly because it's gonna rest on a gap potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of ways that you could um, work it. Maybe you see that plain smoke in the middle. Maybe extend it out and kind of make it go behind the point of the triangle a little bit. Or there's
Yeah.
a
Or
lot of little tricks you could do.
you make that smoke sort of come out and fill in the rest of the skull or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But definitely he has like the bones of a great design.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't tell if he's doing a sneaky two tone with a black and really really dark gray too. It could be all black. I don't know, but
It
um,
looks all black from me.
yeah, really really fresh um, kind of take on it. Glad it's not a kamikaze scene, um, but yeah, great design. Wolf's Clothing by Aurelian. You mentioned Shams a little bit earlier. This is like the reverse Shams, kind of Boz
It is.
Revenge. Um, I did a concept like this with Manny Cartoon Studio many years ago. We had the full body version. This is like the head only, so it's a cool take on it. Aurelian's kind of known for like that dark, kind of
Mm.
evil character style stuff. So he's been posting more often, so that's kind of cool to see. But what are your thoughts on Wolf's Clothing?
I reckon I would want the sheep looking a little bit meaner.
Yeah, I mean, you just took out a wolf, right?
Yeah. But like, artistically, like design wise, it's pretty good.
Hmm.
Aurelian's pretty top shelf when it comes to that sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I like it. The colors too work real well. Black and red, always forever. Black, red, gray, kind of like that Jordan Bread 4 type colorway. Always works well. But I'm with you. That sheep doesn't look like he'd be able to take out a wolf. Like he's got to be a little bit more either weathered or stronger.
Yeah. Or even make the wolf's head like a little bit bigger or something.
Yeah, kind of takes more of the area.
Yeah. And we're kind of nitpicking a little bit, but
Yeah,
like the design's pretty good.
I love the theme. I mean, you're just reversing like such a classic thing. Beware. It's like that folklore fable thing. Always beware of the wolf in sheep's clothing, and then now he just reversed it. I I love that kind of reversal on what you're used to, seeing and what you're used to hearing from, basically. But yeah,
Yeah.
cool design.
Well, I love the wolf that he did for Noble North. If you ever saw
Oh
that
yeah,
one, yeah,
yeah,
that's like phenomenal.
yeah. If he could take that wolf and chop it and put it on like a really mean sheep's head, like I think you have something there. All right, but yeah, definitely cool. This was one, yeah. Like you mentioned a little bit earlier, sometimes things are like too detailed. I almost feel like this is not detailed enough, almost. But yeah, all right, Aurelian. Good to see you back, though, at least. Number 10, Flanagan Studios with The Wish. Over there, do you guys do this with the dandelions?
You blow it for
Yeah.
and make a wish. Yeah.
Is that a thing over there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid, I remember getting told that.
Right.
Don't know how many of my wishes came true though.
You just end up spreading more dandelions, which are an annoying weed and contribute to people's allergies. But for now, looking at just this, Flanagan's brought us this one. Really cool concept. People are playing with a lot of teal this week, I feel like, right? It's like the week of teal.
Yeah, it is. Teal's a good color though.
Yeah.
And we're both wearing it too.
Definitely. I mean, it reminds me of summer. I'm so cold I could probably freeze right now, but yeah, I like being reminded of summer right now because yeah, we're really going through it right now. Being the end of January, it is freezing. But this is interesting. It's not a typical like dandelion color at all, so that's where it's kind of it's different. I don't know if it's necessarily bad, that's a bad thing, but it's just not, you're not used to seeing that, I guess.
Well, this is a very different design to what we've ever seen really on Clink before.
Yeah.
I wonder whether you could, give it a little bit more story. Whether the little petals that are sort of flying off are more like stars or something like that.
Right.
Just to add to it a little bit.
It's a tough situation too because like a real dandelion has so many of those like petal things, but it just wouldn't be realistic to get them all on a hat, right? So it almost looks like it's too like bare almost. I don't know how he could do it without jumbling it up, but it's definitely like visually it's cool. It reminds me of like a what's it called, like a dream catcher tattoo, or you saw it really popular with the different like I guess feather breaking off into birds. Like that was like a really like kind of like an atypical early 2000s tattoo. Usually it would say like believe eventually or something, or some type of like positive affirmation. But yes, it's definitely like you said, I don't think we've really ever seen anything like this on Clink. It's definitely different.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a Seamus sort of feel about it too, hasn't it? Because it hasn't got all the
he's like influencing everyone to drop the outlines.
Which is kind of like back in the old days when Clink had the silhouette designs, if you remember them. It was just all one color.
Yeah. It's moving towards this stuff. Like this stuff almost reminds me of like a water painting, almost like a really well and tightened up like water painting almost. Yeah, I think they did a great job. This is gonna be a tough week to make it through. We haven't really seen any like clunkers.
Yeah, they're all good in their own right, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that's a good bunch, man. I don't know, whoever makes it out of that 10-pack is, I think it's gonna be a really strong week. But definitely appreciate you taking the time to kind of spend with us. You mentioned it being a holiday today. What's the occasion?
It's Australia Day today, so that's why I've got my.
Oh, is that like a celebration of independence or something?
Yeah, it's sort of when Australia sort of came to be. Yeah.
Okay. When you kicked out the Brits, or when you formed?
No, when they sort of came, when the Brits actually landed here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So similar to us, we never officially kicked them out. So I guess we still pay our rent to them in some form or fashion, but we never really broke free. Yeah, Canada is about the same. But yeah, okay, cool. So for those who don't know, January, it's considered
26th.
the 26th, right? January 26th, Australia Day. So happy Australia Day, everyone.
Thank you.
But yeah, it was awesome kind of catching up and kind of renewing our work relationship, I guess, or our kind of friendship. So yeah, man, just hopefully it won't be so much time in between next time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for having me, man. It's been good speaking to you again.
Yeah, no problem. Any final words before we depart to the people? Where can people find your work and how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, I've just got an account on Instagram, Brad Rayson Designs, so you can check out my stuff there. I hope to post a lot more this year, but I'm a full-time working dad with young kids, so finding spare time is the hardest part to do it.
For sure.
But yeah, for all those clinkers out there, just keep posting.
Awesome. Well, it's been my pleasure. So hopefully people give you a follow. And until next time, Leon and Brad, we out of here.